Coming to you live from a little grass shack in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. It's the Junior Kekuewa Jr. Show, starring Junior Kekuewa Jr.
I gotta work again?
Join Junior along with the Wayne Borje Band as he makes any kind from Hawaii.
It's getting to be a habit.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Junior Kekuewa Jr.
All right, thank you, game show. We called him game show. Like, how's Hawaii? How you Hawaii? Oh, Hawaii, how's it? Okay, we call him game show because he sounds like he's doing a game show. Anyway, I don't know. That's Rocky. Thank you, Rocky. Anyway, welcome to the podcast. We're gonna start with an attitude of gratitude. Okay, so first we want to say thank you to all of our demographics. Okay, our demographics, we haven't run that down for a while for you. So males 65.1%, females 34.2%. There's a non-specified amount of 0.7%. So I guess they can't figure it out. Anyway, so the age, right? We have 0 to 17-year-olds listening. Okay, so then that's why we keep it clean. Okay, this is a family show. 0 to 17. And then, so actually, our main demographics are basically 23 to dead. Okay. Before that, we have some 18 to 22-year-olds. Now, where are we being heard? We're being heard in all kinds of countries. So the last few countries we want to acknowledge are new ones. Okay. Ghana, Bulgaria, Taiwan, Kazakhstan, and Palestine. Okay. They're listening to us in Palestine. So we want to say, we want to say thank you, and we hope everything gets resolved over there soon. Okay, I don't like war. I don't like war. I don't like to see people in war. I think war sucks. Okay, and I'm going to get off my soapbox. All right, there you go. Apple Podcasts is our biggest supplier right now. You know, before it was 80-something%, okay, but now it's 42.7%. Web browsers, people that listen to us on web browsers, 19.3%, kind of goes down. iHeartMedia, 17.4%. And then Spotify, it just kind of filters out after that. But we want to say thank you. And today on the podcast, we're going to be talking about energy, where attention goes, energy flows. Okay, we're going to be talking about that today on the podcast. Why is that important? Well, it's important when you're manifesting things. Okay, now, so where attention flows, energy goes, okay? Or energy flows where attention goes, however you want to say that. Okay, but where you apply your focus is important, okay, for manifestation purposes, for anything, okay? Whatever a human being focuses on, okay, they get more of. And this is important, This is important because when you focus on good stuff, you get good stuff. When you focus on bad stuff, you get bad stuff. Okay, now how many times have you focused on bad stuff? Okay, when you think about what you don't want, oh man, the last thing I want is this to happen. The last thing I want is that to happen. That kind of thing, right? So focus on what you do want. Focus on the money you want to make, not the money you don't have. Okay, so always be reaching for stuff, like always. So when I'm in a bad mood, okay, for example, I go online and I go on, Amazon or eBay or whatever it is, right? Websites, random websites, and I look at things I like. I look at goals. I go, okay, I'm going to get that. Okay, maybe not today, but I'm going to get that. But it puts my brain in a good place. It puts my mind in a good place. I start looking at those things and I go, wow, that's cool. I didn't know they made that. Okay, well, put that on the list, right? That kind of thing. And what it does is it has me look forward to stuff. I mean, truth be told, right? If you buy everything you want today, what do you have to look forward to tomorrow? Like, what are you gonna do tomorrow? Like, okay, so everything you want in the world you have today. Okay, boom, there you go. Now what? Okay, so I always keep reaching. Okay, I keep reaching. I keep striving. I keep setting goals. Like, okay, well, and sometimes I got to tell you, Hines, sometimes, okay, it doesn't work so well. Sometimes it's like, okay, because I remember, like, I like Prada shoes. Okay, and because I had one pair of Pradas, right, for years, my mom, so this is what I always tell my mom she bought it, right? Because my mom likes when I do that. She, my mom, like when I give credit to my mom for like anything, right? She eats that up. She loves that, right? So and so I bought this parrot. So my mom gives me, I don't know, a few $100s for my birthday. This is like so way back, like far back, like 25 years ago, something like that, 20 years ago maybe. And she gave me some money. And I went to this store and I bought these Prada shoes. They were athletic shoes, okay, and I still have them, and they're still good, and they're still, they still look like when I first bought them. So, and you got to take care of your stuff, right? Take care of your things. Anyway, so I got these Prada shoes, right, and then which led to another pair of Pradas, and pretty soon, like right now, like I have 6 pairs of Pradas, and so what I'm saying is abundance can be bad, abundance because you can have too much of a good thing. Okay, and I'm not flexing. I'm just saying that my attention was on Prada shoes for a while, and it just kind of grew. It just kind of blew up like that. So the principle that we're talking about is whatever you place your focus on, you're going to get more of that because it's going to grow. Okay, it's going to grow. You're going to get more of it, and you're going to create an abundance of whatever that is. Okay, like I put my I put my focus on cars for a while, right? The thing was like, okay, like sports cars, okay, and then I had like a string of sports cars, brand new sports cars, okay, but not all at once. This was like every 3 years on a lease. I bought at first, and then I started leasing for my company, and so we do that every 3 years. A lot of people do that. Okay, I recommend leasing because, everything is included. The servicing, like everything, and it's easier. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to fuss with it. So anyway, that was a focus for a while. Right before the pandemic broke out, right? I went online on Macy's. See, this is what happens when I go online. So I went online to Macy's.com and I saw these suits that were on sale. Now, I had been doing a lot of public stuff, right? And I retired from entertainment in 2019, but in 2020, this was like right before the pandemic broke out. This was like maybe late December 2019. So I go online, there's this huge sale, and I buy these are Ralph Lauren suits. I go on, the huge sale, so I just go boom, 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 and I bought like, I don't know, 4 or 5 of them because it was really cheap. It was like a liquidation kind of thing, end of year kind of thing, clearance. And so I bought these suits, right? And then the pandemic happens, and then everything goes away, like everything public goes away, right? And I'm like, okay, now I have a closet full of suits, right? And nowhere to go, nowhere to go always, okay? But during that time, right? I was like, okay, wow, we're going to do this. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. But I was, and I wasn't really distracting myself from anything. I just happened to see this online. I was checking. There it is. Bada boom, bada bing. And there you go. Right. And now I use it for my lives. I use it for online purposes. Okay. But here's how this can work for you. Okay. It's all about refocusing, reframing. Refocus and reframe. Because your mind is a projection. Okay? You're projecting your life out from you. Okay? You're projecting your life forward. And what does this mean? This means that you're living in a simulation, right? Remember the other podcast we did? Okay? Okay, you're living in a simulation. Now, how are you going to simulate this for yourself? How are you going to take control of the simulation and deliberately plan your life so that it unfolds the way you want and not the way somebody else wants? Okay, let me give you an idea, right? Okay, things are becoming very fearful in society. Okay, people are afraid of this, afraid of that. Okay, I'm not afraid of anything. Okay, because if it's my time to go, I've had a killer life. I've done all kinds of things. I'm like, okay, if I gotta go, I gotta go. Okay, but I know I'm coming back. Okay, that's just me. That's for me. Okay, don't be like, what? Don't be like that. No, it's just for me, you know. But anyway, okay. Even besides that, if it's time to go, it's time to go. We don't know when we're going, and when I go, I've had a fun time. It's been great. Okay, but here's the thing: when you focus on something you want, right? Your subconscious, it goes into your subconscious. Then what happens? Well, you're giving it energy. Now you believe it. Why? Because intention with emotion, okay, goes into your subconscious. Now, this is what they tell you with, they tell you all kinds of stuff about manifestation, but they don't tell you everything. I'm going to tell you everything. Okay. When you marry intention with emotion, it makes an imprint on your subconscious. Your subconscious is like your subconscious is the quarterback. Okay. When you make that imprint, you're snapping the ball to the quarterback. Okay. It's like the conscious mind is the center. And then it goes boom. And it centers the ball right to the quarterback. Okay. Now the quarterback, right, starts running with the ball. And that touchdown that happens, okay, or that pass that leads to the touchdown is the accomplishment of the goal. And the subconscious will find ways to get that ball over the line. Okay, there you go, Hines. Okay, football scenario. Okay, it's all about football, right? Like go Niners, go whatever. Okay, yeah, but like that. Okay, so that's the football scenario. Okay, well, whatever. But it happens like that. Okay. So like if you want something, right? You're sitting around, you're going, well, we wish I had that Tacoma truck, right? Okay. Don't wish. Plan it. Write it down. I am so happy and grateful now that I have my brand new Tacoma truck. Put down the year, because you could have a brand new 2013. Okay, so put down the year. A brand new 2006 Toyota truck, whatever, Tacoma truck, okay? Toyota Tacoma truck. There you go. Boom. Okay. But do that. Because so many people just live life on the random. Okay, if you're living life on the random, if you're just waking up to see what happens today, then you're not taking full advantage of this blessing that has been given to you called life. You're not. Okay. I'm trying to give you an edge. Okay, and I knew about this only from 2007. So my life only really started happening. Things happen in my life, right? Like in 1999, that's when the popularity came and all that stuff, right? But then, further down the road in 2007, that's when I went, oh, there's got to be another level. And I was trying to get to another level. Now, I was trying to get to another level in entertainment. Okay, we were trying to figure out, me and my business partner were trying to figure out how to get to Las Vegas, how to, whatever, okay? And the how is God's job. Okay, but my business partner came down with cancer, and then he died in 2015. And when he got cancer, we were like pushing for Vegas. Would it have worked? Well, kind of not, sort of. Because I wanted to do it because I wanted the experience for him. I wanted him to do it. For me too, but like the both of us, right? Because we set out, like in 1984, we had all these plans, and we did everything in Hawaii we could do, including a big show, right? A Waikiki show, headline in Waikiki. Okay, we did that. That there wasn't anything else to do. Okay, so the next step was like, okay, Las Vegas, or next step, mainland, whatever, North America, whatever. And so we were trying that. I got an agent out of Orlando. We started working on it, whatever, and I started push. Okay, I'm here to tell you, don't push. Okay, that was my bad. I was pushing. Okay, but I was pushing so that we could get there. Just get there and do like a couple of shows or whatever it was, one 6-month contract before Wayne died. Okay, and just so that I could deliver on that. I delivered on everything else. Everything else I told him, and he was blind. So I met him in 1984. I was 24 years old. I spent my whole adult life working on this music goal. but you have to be all in. You have to commit yourself, right? Okay, so that's what I committed myself to, was the entertainment career. And this goes back to like 12 years old, when I used to sit in the valley. We had this valley by my house when I was a kid, and I used to go down the valley, and I used to sit in the valley, and I used to fantasize about all the stuff you see online right now. When you put my name online, everything you see, I was sitting in the valley, dreaming, daydreaming. I call it fantasizing because everybody's like, oh, that's just a fantasy. So I was fantasizing. I'm like, okay, I'll fantasize. I did not know that I was visualizing. I did not know I was doing the law of attraction thingy. I did not know I was manifesting whatever. Okay, I had no idea. Okay, but there was the horse, that I was thinking of when I was a kid. There's my friend had this horse, Firecracker, and then all of a sudden, the horse was in the back of my head. Well, the horse popped out. The horse, and she came for 11 years. It was 11 years. It was a love affair, man. I tell you, I love my horse. She's gone now, but I loved her. And, but these things that came out from the back of my head from 12 years old all manifested everything, every single thing. So you have control, Hawaiians, is what I'm saying. You have control over your life. A lot of people go, oh, well, no, you don't understand. I got bills. I'm in debt. I mean, my chick's going to leave me. I'm like, no. Stop. Turn it around, okay? Now, sometimes to turn the thing around, okay? You ever turned a ship around? You ever turned a big boat around? Okay? A ship, with a big wheel, a yacht, okay? If you've ever turned a yacht around, you know that you got to pull on that damn wheel, okay? You got to pull on that wheel hard. It's a job, okay, when you're pulling that thing around, okay? And it's the same way with your life. It's a hard pull. You got to pull, and you got to keep pulling, okay? You cannot let up. You cannot pull a little bit, let go, pull a little bit, let go. No, you got to keep pulling. You got to keep pulling on that wheel until you turn it around. And I had to pull, okay? So my energy had to be on, what I was committed to, and it had to be unwavering. You have to pray unceasingly. When you're praying for something, you gotta go all in, okay? And you gotta stay there. I was told so many things by the industry people when I got to the industry, the entertainment industry, the radio industry. I worked with a lot of small-minded people. Okay, there was a couple of guys that were really sharp, and there were, but the majority of them did not have vision. They didn't. They just went and do what they were having fun doing their little radio show. They were doing whatever they were doing, right? But they didn't have vision. Their vision didn't go past the radio studio. It was just in the studio. They did what they did. Everybody was listening, and that was the end of it. Okay. So I had to have some vision. I had to project out. And that's what you need to do. Okay. And I had to make some major changes in my life. I had to turn it around. I had to pull on that wheel real hard. Okay. I had type 2 diabetes. I was 250 pounds. I had to make some changes. Right. I did some drastic things to turn that wheel. I did some huge things to change my life. Because you have to, okay, if you want to change. Now, if you don't want to change, you want to keep the same things going, get the same results you've always gotten, then okay, go ahead. Because you have a choice. You have freedom of choice, okay, and you have the right. You have the right to live how you want to live. You want to live messed up, fine, go ahead. It's up to you, okay? But I'm not by any means, I'm not here, in the capacity of I'm all good and you need to be like me. I'm not saying that at all. I'm trying to explain how this thing works. I'm trying to explain to you how everything works. And then you can take control of it or not. Okay, I'm not here trying to be better than anybody. I'm not here trying to, flex and whatever. No, I'm here to tell my personal experience. Okay, and my personal experience is when I applied the mental focus, the energy, okay, the attention. When I focused my attention, the energy started flowing. Energy flows where attention goes. And when you give attention to something, when you pay attention, I always say this in my life, when you pay attention, it's a transaction. You have to pay. Why? Because you're using your life. You're paying part of your life. Because attention requires time. When you're giving your attention to something, you're saying, okay, I'm going to dedicate this amount of time to that. That's the attention. Okay? And you have to pay attention. You have to be able to say, okay, I'm going to dedicate this amount of time to that. And then energy is going to flow because I'm placing my attention on it. That kind of thing. Okay? So it's like that. But you have to pay attention. It's a transaction. You have to take a little bit of your life and apply it to something. Okay, so this is, when people say, oh, you have to apply yourself. That's what they're talking about. You have to apply. Is it difficult? No, it's not difficult, but it's a choice. You have to choose. Okay, wherever you place your focus, your mental energy, emotional energy, spiritual energy, all will be naturally directed. Okay, it all goes to that place, wherever it is. Mental, spiritual, physical, whatever. Okay. So if, for example, let's say you were on drugs, because I meet a lot of people like this. They're on drugs for a long time, right? They and then they find God. And then they put their attention on God. They put their attention, they apply their focus to God. And their life gets better. Okay, things change. Why? Because now they're applying faith. Now they're focused on God. Because now they're looking and they're seeing, wow, okay, there is a better way. There is a spiritual way. There is a spiritual path. Now, whatever you call the energy in you, that's what you are. That's who you are. You're not your body. You're not your name. You've been assigned those things. You were assigned a body. But you came to the planet 100%. Nobody completes you. You don't need anything. Okay, you don't need. Maybe you want, right? You desire, but you don't need. You don't need anything. You don't need. So, you always hear this on the Harlequin romance novels or whatever, or the Hallmark Channel or whatever it is, right? And they give you this nonsense. Like, oh, he completes me. He doesn't complete you. You were complete to begin with. Okay, he delights you. He makes you happy, right? He pays your bills. He does whatever, but he doesn't complete you. You're already complete. So now we get into the conscious mind, the subconscious, and superconscious in the context of we're applying energy to something and it's growing. How does that work? Well, your conscious mind is a spotlight of awareness, okay? It's analytical, logical, and it handles decision making. That's where you make the decision, in the conscious mind. You choose what you want to focus on, okay? Now, the conscious mind filters reality through selective focus, okay? What you choose to notice versus what you choose to ignore, okay? Ignorance. The root word is ignore. Ignorance, okay? Ignore. So when you choose to ignore something, why do they call it, why ignorance? Well, because then you don't know about it, right? Because you ignored it. If you ignored it, you're not going to explore it. You're not going to explore it, not going to learn it, not going to get information from it. Okay, there you go. Ignorance. Boom, Hawaiians, right there. Okay? If you focus on, say, gratitude, your awareness starts scanning for things to be grateful for. Okay, you start calling to mind all the things you're grateful for, right? And now you're directing your energy towards something positive. You're being grateful. And then, boom, you get more. Why? Because that's where your focus is. It's on gratitude. Okay? Now, your subconscious mind, what does that do? Well, what role does it play in this process? Well, the subconscious stores beliefs, habits, emotions, automatic behaviors. It runs in the background. It shapes 90 to 90% of your daily actions. 95%. Do you know when they talk about tithing in the Bible? Okay, for my Christian brothers and sisters. Okay, when they talk about tithing, they're not talking about money. Yeah, the church has turned it into money. Okay, but the esoteric knowledge of tithing means you take 10% of your mind and you give it to God. Because 10% is all it takes to change your life. 10%. If you give 10% of your mind to God, okay, but let's say it another way. If you be mindful with 10% of your mind, okay, and you observe God with that, or you join and partner with God, with the 10%, your whole life will be good. You don't have to give God 80%, 100%. I see people like, I give God 100%. I'm like, I don't even know how that's possible. Because we're humans. We're human beings. Okay? We have positive and negative thoughts. All of us, myself included. Okay? I'm not here to be better than anybody. I'm here to be the explainer and the communicator and that guy. Okay? I'm a teacher. Okay? This is what I teach. Okay? So when you do these affirmations, visualization, right? These outcomes, your subconscious treats them as instructions and as order. It's an order taker. Okay. So with these outcomes, right? Because you're focusing on a certain thing for an outcome. If you're writing an affirmation, I am so happy and grateful now that I am confident. Thank you. What you're doing is you're saying, okay, I want confidence. Now, as soon as your subconscious believes you, as soon as your subconscious believes your conscious mind, it starts showing you evidence of it. It starts producing opportunities for it. Yeah, so it all happens from within. The kingdom is within. Jesus Christ told you the kingdom is within. So over time, what happens? Well, your subconscious aligns your automatic behaviors and emotional responses with whatever you've been feeding it in the way of attention and energy. So you start getting these responses. So ask yourself a question. Ask your subconscious a question. Just say, how do I do this? How do I do that? Einstein used to do it. Einstein used to do it with equations, with mathematical problems. He used to ask for solutions, and it used to come to him out of nowhere. Well, not out of nowhere, out of the superconscious. What is the superconscious? Well, we're going to get to that in a second. Okay, but the superconscious is God, or consciousness, or that, if you want to call it a cloud, it's a cloud. In computer language, it's a cloud. And we're all plugged into the cloud, and everybody uploads to the cloud, and everybody has access to the uploads. You just have to know how. Okay? Just go in the kingdom. Go inside and ask. Ask, believe, receive. That's how, right there. Okay, now when you ask and you believe in the asking, you will receive. You will receive, and God will give you whatever it is you're asking for. But when you have doubt or fear, now you cancel it out. Okay, so if I don't know, I'm working on a couple of things right now, like a handful of things right now. And I'm going, wow, I see all the synchronicities. All I have to do is keep believing. That's all I have to do. And it's going to show up. Because first and foremost, I believe in God. Secondly, I believe in me. Okay, I had to go through a learning process to believe in me. I had to really focus on, observe myself, right? And go, well, can I trust this guy? Okay. I had to get to that point. We all have to evolve and learn as we grow, or as we go down the life, the path of life, right? Okay, so let's get to the superconscious. All right, so what is the role of the superconscious in this energy thing? Well, the role is the superconscious is that higher dimension of awareness, okay? It's that God particle. It's that God part of you, okay? Because God lives in you. God is not out there. God is not up there. It's in you. We're talking about intuition. We're talking about inspiration, okay? And the connection to universal intelligence, okay? Sometimes they call it a higher self, source, God consciousness, Christ consciousness, okay? All of that stuff, all of those labels. But it's bigger than that. When you go into your meditation and you sit inside yourself for a half an hour, 45 minutes, okay, that's kind of long. You gotta work it up. Start with 5 minutes, go to 10. On a regular basis, 10 is all you need. But when you do it for 30 or 45 minutes, you know what you're going to experience? You're going to experience such an expansion of awareness. You're going to experience God as it really is versus all the earthly labels that people put on it and all the ideas they have of it. Okay. Recently, I met a lady. She's a Christian. Okay. I'm a Christian. She's a Christian. Okay. But she's a different denomination type Christian, and that's fine. No judgment. Okay. But she has been so, I want to say, conditioned into this Sunday school belief that Jesus is going to come riding on a horse out of the clouds and save everyone. Okay. That heaven is up there. No, the heavens are up there, where you see the stars, okay, where you see the sun, okay. The sun is in the heavens. Jesus, the Son of God, okay, is in heaven. Okay, where's heaven? Oh, it's in your head. The same place that you project your life from. Where is hell? Well, originally, in the ancient context, hell was your heel. It was your foot, okay, your heel. Hell, heel, heaven, head. Okay, so when you pray the Lord's Prayer, for example, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. What does that mean? Well, if you're a Christian, right, you have to understand it properly. It's our Father who art in me, okay? Hallowed be your name. There you go. Translation, okay? And I break these things down for people. Now, you can find the same information, just go do some research. But you can't talk to the Sunday school people, okay? Because they learned Sunday school, then they turn around and they teach Sunday school, and then they further the conditioning. Okay, I know when you come to the podcast, you never know what you're gonna hear, right? Okay, there you go. There's a shocker right there. Okay. But the superconscious mind, okay? How does attention work in the superconscious? Well, when your conscious focus is clear and your subconscious is trained to align with it, okay? In other words, a belief is a thought you keep thinking, okay? So you make that focus clear and you keep thinking that thought, it becomes a belief. The superconscious amplifies the process by drawing synchronicities, insights, opportunities. It brings the right people at the right time. It opens the doors for you as you go. But you have to walk towards your goal. Okay? In other words, in Hawaii, we say you cannot make any kind. You have to walk towards your goal. Okay? Just walk towards it. That's all you need to do. Because the how is not your job. Okay? You're going to get it if you walk towards it. If you have the faith to walk towards it. Why do you need faith to walk towards it? Because sometimes it can appear like it's disappearing. But that's guidance. Okay, so if one door is closing, that means you're not supposed to go through that door. There's another door opening, and maybe you can't see it today. Okay, so chill and have some patience and wait. Wait for it. Okay, wait for it. What happens? Well, it starts to expose itself. It starts to develop, sometimes right in front of you, but you don't see it right away. Okay? Because you're discouraged, you're deflated. You're like, oh, shucks, it didn't work, right? And then when you give up, when you throw yourself on your bed for a nap because you're exhausted trying to figure out how this is going to work, and you feel defeated because the door closed, you get up from your nap and you go, wow, I got an email. Well, hey, whoa, this opportunity, it took a left turn. Wow, something's going on over here. Another door opened. There you go, always. Another door opens. So the superconscious is responsible for intuitive thought. It's all the right brain. It's all the right hemisphere of the brain. Okay? It's responsible for intuitive thought, synchronicities, insights, everything. Quantum physics is describing this process as infinite possibilities. Okay? When you hold a strong vision, okay, of success with faith, the superconscious connects you to ideas, people, events, anything to make it real for you, to bring it into fruition, to bring it into the physical world. There you go. This is Aladdin's lamp. Okay, Aladdin, 3 wishes, right? But you have unlimited wishes. You can keep wishing. No such thing as 3 wishes. You just keep going. But you have to be faithful in your wishing. You have to be faithful in your asking. You have to know like you know, like you know it's going to happen, whatever it is for you. Okay. So your conscious mind, right? You choose a focus. Subconscious, repetition, okay? Emotional energy. It forms the belief, okay? And the habits that stem from the beliefs, okay? That go into your paradigm, that form your paradigm. The superconscious, okay? Once aligned, the field responds with synchronicities, inspiration, universal support, universal intelligence, intuitive thought, and you must follow intuitive thought. You have to. You really have to. Because then you will benefit. So look at it like this. It's a 3-layer system, right? Your conscious mind is the director. Your subconscious is the actor. The superconscious is the producer, the resources and opportunities. Okay, the actor would be habits and responses. Okay, and the director would be choice of focus. That's all it is. Okay, we're going to do that. And you have to choose. I see a lot of young people today, and the fault that I see, or the negative side, or the downside, or downfall, or whatever. The thing I see in young people is they're not stubborn enough. Okay, and what I mean by that is you have to be stubborn. You have to be fixed on your goal. If you keep changing your mind, God is like a GPS, right? You ever use the GPS? Of course you have. When you know the shortcut, what happens to the GPS? It starts spinning. It starts thinking. It's recalibrating. And it will recalibrate into another path for you. Why? Because you made this turn over here outside of its capacity or outside of its plan. And now that you changed course, God is that GPS or the superconscious or higher self or Jesus Christ or whoever. Okay? And that has to realign. It has to realign, and then boom, it will lay out a new path for you. It was okay, you don't want to go that way? Okay, you're going this way? Okay, here's your plan. Boom, there you go. There you go, Hawaiians. Now you have the plan to move forward, okay? But you have the plan to move forward in another way. You know, so if the question you have is, can I change my mind? Yeah, you can change your mind. But it's going to take time when you change your mind. And young people today, right? You know, and I try to impress this upon them, but many times you cannot talk to young people because you couldn't talk to me when I was in my 20s. People talk to me. I remembered it. I used it in my 30s, my late 20s and early 30s. I started to use that information. But when you're in your 20s, you think you got the world, you know, figured out. You think you have the answers. And you change course and you change course and you change course because you don't believe in yourself yet. Change, 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 change. And then you get frustrated because you're not going anywhere. And then you're frustrated because it didn't happen, whatever it was. But when you clear, okay, when you clear your mind, when you have clarity, how do you do that? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. It's called the forward method. It's my method. It's the forward method. Just look it up. Just go. The Forward Method by Junior Kekuewa Jr. Just put that into a browser. It will give you all the information. But if you keep changing your mind, right? You keep getting different paths lined up for you. And you don't go anywhere because it takes time. So you get stuck in that, you know, in that time warp thingy, right? Because you're just stuck. Just know that there's so many infinite possibilities that when you commit to one thing, whatever it is, I don't care what it is. I don't care which way you decide to go to get whatever it is you want. As long as you stick to that, God is the GPS. God does the how. God will rearrange everything for you. It might be a longer journey, okay? My journey was long. You know, I didn't want people, you know, my uncle who was my first mentor, right? He laid it out for me. He goes, well, you can sign with these guys and you can let them produce you and, you know, you can be under them kind of thing. And then you owe them your life. Or there's another alternative. And I was like, yeah, I think I want to do the other one. What's that one? He goes, well, you can work hard all your life and you can record as many albums as you want. And you can do as many performances as you want. And you can perform with the orchestra and do shows like you want. And this was when I was 17, he told me this. I was 17 years old when he told me this. He goes, you can do your show in Waikiki, you know, but you do it yourself. But that's your second option. You work hard all your life and you get to do everything and you get to own all of your music. You get to own everything because you've worked for everything. You get to do everything. Now, how do you think that sounded when I was 17? I was like, I was like, no, come on. There's a better way. There's a better way, right? Okay? Oh, Hawaiians, man. Mm-hmm. There is no better way, Hawaiians. Okay, you are, you know, the people I saw that got produced. Okay, nothing against them. A lot of them are beautiful people. Musicians are very, singers, entertainers, musicians. They're very special people. Because inside, all they really want to do is have fun. That's all they really want to do. You know, I was playing music for this beautiful girl this morning, right, online. And I was like, this is what I wanted to do. I just wanted to sing to pretty girls. That's it. That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted. And God had to make me do all of this stuff because I had to work for it and build something and then live all of my dreams, right? You know, that kind of thing. But you have to. If you want to own all your stuff. I knew guys that signed contracts and they had wonderful careers. They own nothing at the end of it. Why? Because, well, the producer owns everything because they put up the money for everything. Okay? So you do have a choice. You do have a choice. You could do it the easy way and end up with nothing, or you can do it I don't want to say the hard way because it wasn't really hard. It was just long. Okay? It took a long time. It took a long time for me to produce albums. It took a long time for me to learn how to produce. It took a long time for me to, whatever, my marketing, everything. It took a long time. It took a long time to build all of my companies, and they're built, they're there. Okay? They're not multi-million-dollar companies. They could be one day. I'm still working on it. Yeah, at my age, Hawaiians, I'm still working on it. Entrepreneurs die with tons of projects. In the middle of tons of projects, they die. Okay? And I am committed to die trying. Now, I don't know what level I'm going to get to. It's not a competition. It's freedom for me. That's what it's about. It's about freedom. Because I don't have to take orders from, I'm not an order taker. Okay? So I don't have to take orders from anybody. Number one. Number two, I'm enjoying my life because everything I do, like this podcast right here, right? I'm teaching. I love to teach. I'm a teacher. That's what I do. It's in my genes. My mother and father were educated. Well, my mother was an elementary school teacher. When I remind her of it, she doesn't like it. But yeah, that's another podcast. So okay. My mom, oh geez, that's another podcast. But I'm just saying, right? Now, my dad was a professor. Okay, but, getting back, right? The things that I do, I enjoy. The things that I do every day, I enjoy every day. Why? Because I do the things I like to do. I teach. I heal. I create. I do business. I do businesses. I do companies. A family of service companies. Here's what I don't do. I don't do somebody else's thing. I don't make somebody else rich. I work on my own. No, whether I get rich or not, for me, it's inevitable. I'll go be rich no matter what. Okay? Whether I'll be able to spend my money or not, I don't know. Right? But guarantee rich. Wealthy, yeah, more wealthy than rich. Okay? But I'm not flexing. I'm just saying you can do it too. Okay? A lot of people won't talk about this. A lot of people won't talk about, okay, how do you get wealthy? How do you get rich? How do you, right? Questions all the time. And a lot of people will keep it to themselves. Why? Because when you find God, either in a church, because church is not wrong. Okay, I'm not saying anything bad about churches. I just don't like the 501c3 aspect of it because it leads to greed and yeah, never mind. That's another podcast. So it's okay. But when you find God, no matter how you find God, when you find the real God, when you meditate and you go, oh, this is consciousness, this is God, this is the thing, right? When you find that, and then you find out that you can orchestrate this whole thing called your life, that you can project it out like that you don't need anybody, that all you need is you and enjoying your projection or designing your projection so that it comes out just the way you want. And then you go, whoa, can't believe this happened. That kind of, if you want that kind of life with surprises and like, whoa, and all you got to do is say thank you to whoever you believe is God. That's the life, Hawaiians. That's the life. Okay, because at that point, you're not taking orders from anybody. At that point, yeah, you got to do certain things. You got to pay taxes. You got to pay for services. You got to pay for whatever, the work that people do for you. You got to do all this stuff, okay? But that's the life, Hawaiians. When you truly understand that when you direct your attention intentionally, you not only reprogram your subconscious, but you also align with the superconscious, with God. You align with God. And God expands your possibilities. And those possibilities are infinite. Why are those possibilities infinite? Because God is infinite. That's why. Okay? Because God is real. Okay? Because God is the thing. That's the thing that you really need to be aware of. That you have that connection with God. Okay? Now some churches, sorry, I was going to say some churches won't tell you that, but I will tell you this on the podcast. Okay, there you go. All right, Owens. Boy. But yeah, they don't tell you this in the Bible. No, well, they kind of do, but yeah, you got to decipher it. Anyway, hey, we want to thank Voice Master family of service companies, the companies that I slave for. And we also want to thank Darren Jeanette and his music at afmhawaiimusic.com. Till the next time, I'm Junior Kekuewa Jr. saying mahalo and aloha.